unemotional approach to advocacy and activism for Israel and the Jewish people for years. I've always found it the most effective approach, and in advocacy, effectiveness is what matters most. Nonetheless, like many of you, at times this week I have been incandescent with rage. As I wrote these words, my hands were shaking. The events we are watching are almost inconceivable. And the murderers, butchers, and torturers of Hamas seem like the most monstrous characters in a horror movie. But this is no movie. By the end of the day today, the number of killed will be approaching 1,000. The number of wounded, almost 3,000. And the number of captives, around 150. Let's put that in perspective. America has 35 times Israel's population. It would be the equivalent of 34,000 dead, 100,000 injured, and 5,000 captives in the hands of the purely evil. These are staggering numbers, and we may not have seen the worst of it yet. But this is no spreadsheet. Places where I have visited several times, like Sderot, like Netiv HaAsara, like Nir Am, where I watched families play in their playgrounds with caterpillar-shaped bomb shelters and menorahs built out of spent rockets and mortars. These places are now littered with smoldering wreckage and the smell of death, like something in a bad dream. But this is no nightmare. No, my friends, this is our reality. A reality where Israel has had to desperately fight off an invasion. And you can't call it anything else. It's an invasion. Where it must prepare to both destroy the invaders of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, PIJ, as well as to be ready to fight off Hezbollah, which is an arsenal 10 times larger than that of Hamas, while also watching the puppet masters in Iran as they inch closer to a nuclear weapon. It sounds daunting, but I am not afraid. I'm a student of history, and history tells me that the Roman Empire, the Inquisition, the Almohad Caliphate, Nazi Germany, these were all more powerful than the degenerate killers of Hamas, their bunker-hiding allies in Hezbollah, and their paymasters in the Islamic Republic of Iran. They all tried to destroy us, and they failed utterly. To Hamas, its supporters, its apologists, do they think that they will accomplish what world-spanning empires could not do? That makes them both arrogant and stupid, as well as murderous and evil. The Jewish people rise from the fire every time, more determined, more united, stronger, and though wounded, saddened, and angered, we know that even as Hamas wrote the first chapter of the 2023 Gaza war, the Jewish nation and Israel will write the final chapter.
Yes.
So, all of us standing here, what can we do? I'll tell you what we can do. We can do these 4 things. We can pray, stand, advocate, and act. We can pray as we have done this evening, and as many of us have been doing since word of the invasion came in early on Saturday. We will continue to pray for the safety of our brothers and sisters, for the victory of the Israel Defense Forces in their war to defend their homes and families, and ultimately for genuine peace when the battles are over. We can do what you have done here tonight. Stand and be counted, supporting the right of our families to live in peace in their ancestral homeland. Or, as many of you also have been doing, to stand and be counted, supporting our allies, friends, and neighbors in their time of pain and need. Thank you. We can advocate to our local, state, and federal governments. We can tell them to stand firm with Israel, as President Biden has done this week and today, clear and unwavering in support of both word and deed. As our Congressman Mike Lawler has done, sharing his thoughts, solidarity, and policy suggestions with us yesterday, though he is unable to be here this evening, and as Governor Hochul has done, confronting hate and anti-Semitism across the state. We can and do advocate to our town, county, and state representatives and elected officials, ensuring that they understand our community's need for increased security and vigilance. And I must say that we thank all of them, and we thank especially the incredible people in law enforcement and all of the agencies in this county. Let's give them an incredibly big hand. For working with us to safeguard our institutions and all of us here in Rockland. And we can also confront the hate that we see on social media, or in our schools, or in colleges and universities, or around the water cooler. Anywhere you see it, you can confront it. You must confront it. And finally, we can support the people of Israel directly. The Jewish Federation and Foundation of Rockland County has established an Israel emergency appeal, meeting the needs of bereaved, traumatized, and dispossessed families who've lost their homes and their loved ones. Our appeal will support the families of the abducted hostages in their time of greatest hardship. Funds raised will also provide shelter, housing, and medical care to displaced families, help for seniors who've had to be moved to safer spaces, equipment, medication, and active care to the thousands of wounded, and equipment for those saving and protecting lives. You will see circulating through the crowd flyers with a QR code. Scan it, and you'll be able to make a contribution immediately. That is what you can do, as I did earlier today. And to those of you, the hundreds of you who've already made a contribution to our Israel Emergency Appeal, thank you. Friends, I have a lot to do, and so do all of you. Before I continue, I spoke with my brother who lives in Israel today, and have been in touch with our extended family across Israel. Some of whom have been in shelters, some of whom haven't been in shelters yet, as my brother said, not yet. Some of whom put on their uniforms, kissed their families goodbye, drove and left their cars at the side of the highway and walked into their bases for deployment. And some of our family who are now on the front lines near Gaza, face to face, clearing villages and towns and blocks and buildings and saving lives. They are our lions. All of you can be lions too. You can rally, advocate, donate, and be the lions that we need wherever you are. You are the sons and daughters of Samson, of David, of Bar Kokhba, of Mordecai Analevitz, and Chana Senesh. Be fierce in your advocacy. Be unrelenting in your support. Channel your rage and anger and sorrow and resolution. The future of Israel and the Jewish people depends on each one of you. We're all in the reserves now. Our call up has come. Thank you.